When it comes to leadership, when you're starting your business, I truly believe that if you're going to partner up with somebody, and if you're in a place where you're just hiring new people and you're in the startup phases, you have to be, you have to find the people that you, as the leader, would do anything for. Because in the beginning stages, it does actually take that. And I'm not saying, financial sacrifices, because those are a given if you decide to start your business. I'm not talking about time either, but I'm talking about things like really reflecting on yourself and understanding, like, am I doing the best I possibly can for this person? Am I going to give this person 100%? In addition to that, like, it's also like checking yourself. You have to have the humility, and the doing anything is like having the humility to like check yourself and be like, am I fit to be in this position? And honestly, it's something I ask myself probably like 3 times a week, you know what I mean? Just to make sure that, like, are the people that I'm with, are they taken care of? So that's the first thing, is finding the people that not only will ride or die with you, but you'll ride or die with them. Very important. And the second thing, I mean, it's very classic and simple, but I think it's true, is just leading by example. Like, whether it's doing the work, like, one thing I can say is, like, I might not be good at as good as like my team is at, whether it be graphic design, video, writing, or anything like that, but I know that I can do it to a certain extent, right? So what I think is important there is you have to understand what each person's job is and be able to do that person's job enough to where that person will respect you when you say this is not right. Because if they don't, like, they're not going to be your ride or die. You have to get down on their level. Not down on their level, but you have to get on their level and understand the ins and outs of their business and be willing to learn from the people around you. There's things I learn every single day from every person that I work with, whether it's writing or video or graphics or just managing people, new strategies and marketing, things like that. And it's like, maybe you're pushing it forward, but if you don't trust your crew, like, you're never gonna move forward. I have a 5-minute journal, and you can find it on Amazon, and I don't have an affiliate link, and eventually I should probably do that. But look up 5-minute journal, and it actually goes through some very similar things, and if you feel like you don't have that much time, it at least sits you down. And the first thing it goes through is, what am I grateful for today? So it goes through 3 points, and you write out, what are you grateful for? For me, it could be something like the fact that there's food on the table, but I really like to focus on things that are very specific. It could be a conversation that I had with a random person, or even just like how I felt after eating a really good Eggs Benedict type of thing, right? So
I really like Eggs Benedict.
I look up #breakfast with Mick, M-I-Q-K, and there's 70 Eggs Benedict reviews there. This is a fact. So those are the things that I'm grateful for. After that, it goes into what would make today amazing. And so, whether it's hearing about new business, making somebody like feel special, like those types of things. And then the third thing it goes through is, is affirmation. So that's an opportunity for me to like pump my own self up, which I think is important. You know what I mean? And also the affirmations I've learned can also be forward thinking as well. So, you're putting your goals in essence kind of like out there into the universe, if you want to call it that. And then it ends the day very similarly as well, right? So it goes back and it says, what were 3 things that happened that were amazing? And what's crazy is I don't learn about new business every day, believe it or not, but it forces me to point out great things that happen. And then it also says what could have made today better, which kind of, checks myself as well. And every single night, pretty close, I would say 95% of the time, I watch a rerun of Family Guy. I know every single Family Guy front and back. It's really crazy. And so it could be in the background, but it gives me an opportunity to kind of like let my brain go for 30 minutes. And really that's basically it. I mean, yes, working out is, something that I like to say I do every day, but it's like 3 to 5 times a week and things like that. And those would be my biggest rituals. That's it. It's just the 5 minutes. I do. It's funny because I'm a big Tony Robbins fan too, and actually I read Awaken the Giant Within in 2014 when I started my business, and it was absolutely life-changing. One of the best things that he says that I always remember is that when you're not missing your mark, he makes the comparison between playing golf and sinking a hole, whatever it might be. I'm not a golfer, but he makes a comparison and he says, to hit the hole, you're really only a millimeter off, right? And in a practical sense, it's like, it doesn't take that much to get you off course, and likewise, it doesn't take much to get you back on course. So when you tap into the higher vibration, it's really just taking a moment, honestly taking the deep breath, and just realizing like, look, like just because I had a bad moment doesn't mean I have to have a bad day. And just because I had a bad day doesn't mean I have to have a bad week. You know what I mean? You have the opportunity, like you said, I'm choosing frustration, and I believe that. I believe that you choose frustration just as much as you can choose happiness and you can choose optimism.
Okay. You know, one final question on this thing, and then I'm going to try to get some audience questions, is you guys seem to have a good grasp on your scheduling, your habits, yet you both have family, you both have loved ones and friends. Like, what's your way of handling work-life balance? Just curious.
I actually agree completely. It's funny because even if it's time with my friends and it's like a social dinner or like date night type of thing with my girlfriend, it's actually in my calendar. But the trick about using a calendar is when it's in your calendar, you put the phone down and you focus 100% on what you're doing so you can give yourself wholly, like you were saying too. And so I guess in a practical sense, and how that like translates into my actual life is like I'm putting the phone down definitely at dinner and over meals, and that's even with my friends, like we do that too, definitely at any business meetings. And for me, my girlfriend and I, you know, we just moved in together, but we've been together for a little bit now, and she's really busy. She's a hairstylist, which is essentially, in my opinion, an entrepreneur just as much as I am. Honestly, don't tell anybody, I actually think she works harder than I do, and I don't like it. But we trade weekends. Like this weekend, I get to do whatever the heck I want to do. So, exactly. What's great is she loves Eggs Benedict, so it works. Everybody loves brunch, but it's like, I get to, if I want to spend my weekend working, she respects that. And then likewise on her weekends, like I ask her, like, is it cool if I flip on my my laptop right now for even if we're just watching reruns? Like, I want to respect that time that I'm giving to her. And I guess the other thing too, when it comes to work-life balance, is see what you can do about recognizing the things that you love about the thing that you're doing. Like, I love the podcast. I love creating content. I love hanging out with my best friends every single day. So when I focus on the fact that like, okay, maybe this client's up my ass right now, but at least I'm hanging out with Nelson and Carly, like Hannah's here too, like we can go back. It's like, at least then it's like, I'm with my friends. How much better does I get? You know what I mean? So if you can focus on the things that you love about your job more than the things that are pissing you off about it, because no matter what, even when you're doing the things you love, there will be something that pisses you off. Just focus on the things that aren't. Like, focus on the things that are making you happy. And it makes working all those hours so much easier.
That's a good one.
It actually it was my sales manager. It was my sales manager when I was working at the local SEO company. He always said gratitude and perspective. Those are two things. You have to find gratitude in everything that you're doing and in every single day for the things that you've really been blessed with, whether it's opportunities or people or whatever it is. And perspective, and enough perspective to understand that no matter where you're at, it could always be worse and it could always be better. So you got to work toward it. So that's what really sparked it. He's the one who turned me on to Tony Robbins. And when I realized that I can't run a 5K every day, I decided the 5-minute journal worked out just fine for me while I'm eating my Eggs Benedict.
One more question for you.
I guess the question that I'm most tired of hearing is any one of the questions that start with what if. Because typically when that question comes up, they're always asking something along the lines of, what if I fail? What if nobody watches this video? What if my mom sees it? What if my dad sees it? And the perspective isn't changed enough. And this goes back to that gratitude and perspective thing. The perspective has to be like, what if it actually works out? What if you do put out that cover song and Justin Bieber like retweets it? These are goals for me, by the way. Like, so I mean, that's really it. I just wish that people understood that if they spent less time thinking like, what if it went wrong, and more time thinking, what if it went right, they'd probably come to a decision much quicker, and they'd see a lot more progress in their life every day.
That's good.